everyone. Thanks for joining and welcome back. Our guest today is Dan Stuart, CEO and President of Juggernaut Exploration. Welcome back, Dan.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Ivan. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate having you come down to speak to the gold and the silver community and everyone in precious metals. I wanted to get you down and talk about, there is excitement in precious metals. There's excitement right now in the mining sector. Uh, And I just wanted to ask you, where's silver going right now? We'll start off with silver, get into gold after this. But, silver had that, kind of a breakout the past 2, 3 weeks. Now we're kind of going around that 36 range. What are your thoughts on silver?
Well, I think silver is in a protracted long-term bull market. If you looked at silver specifically today, you would see that silver is in backwardation. So the spot market, the spot price you're paying for silver today is at a premium to what that future price would be. And that is clearly indicative of a supply shortage. So, you've got this extraordinary amount of demand on silver. You see what trades on the COMEX and the LME daily. It's far beyond the amounts that are being mined.
Right.
And so, long term, I'm a big bull on silver, right? We've broken out of that $35 resistance level too as well. So good things are coming for silver.
And I wanted to ask you, just to get into the mining sector, what are the biggest challenges and opportunities for gold and silver miners as they navigate, increasing social pressure, also even governance like ESG. With all those pressures, what are the biggest opportunities and challenges?
Yeah. Well, the biggest opportunities out there right now for the miners is input costs are extraordinarily low. So we're seeing some projects that they would have on their balance sheet that maybe they're going to dust off or can dust off now just due to the fact that input costs are very low. When you look at the price of natural gas, which has been trending up a bit, or specifically oil, you're looking at $62 to $65 a barrel, right?
Wow.
So input costs, you know, I think are one. And then on the flip side of that equation is the lack of new high grade discoveries in geopolitically stable regions. So it's one thing to find an ore body, it's another thing for it to be economic, and it's another thing for you to actually be able to mine it and extract that and sell that ore and get capital for that.
Hello, my fellow silver and gold stacker. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching the channel. Subscribe, please like the video, and also hit the notification bell. Keep stacking.
Right. So
Right.
I see that as a big hurdle. You can find these things, but you get to keep them. Barrick's going through that right now with a huge operation in Mali. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. I guess, what would you tell someone getting into precious metals right now, whether they're looking at physical silver, whether they're looking at, the mining sector, gold, or even stocks, in the industry? What would you tell them? What would be your guidance, and what would you tell them to avoid?
Yeah. Well, first thing I would say is that when it comes to gold and silver, these are long-term investments, and they're true stores of wealth. So if you look at the Basel III rules on July 1st, we're going to see gold will be basically a tier one asset again. The banks are telling us gold is money again. And I want to be going where the banks are going
Yeah.
because they're really in control of the money supply. So when I look at this space, I say to myself, it's a true store of wealth, safe and secure. And the banks and the other big stackers, if you want to talk about stackers within our community, stacking silver and gold, the biggest stackers out there are the central banks.
Yeah.
And the central banks have been stacking at a record pace over the past 10 years, and that's not letting up either. So, I think the trend is your friend. You're heading in that direction. That's where all the big money is going. That's where all the smart money is going. So you have to be patient. And when it comes to the mining stocks, again, I'm going to go to geopolitical risk, right? So, gold in the Dominican Republic is same as gold in Timmins, Ontario. The difference is the valuation on those ounces is much different due to the geopolitical climate. So if I were you, and which I do, is I stay close to home. I'll stay in a tier one country. So
Right.
Canada, the United States, Australia is really kind of those tier one jurisdictions, right?
No, absolutely. Now, moving a little bit away from precious metals, what is your biggest concern right now, Dan? Whether it's geopolitical, financial, whether it's the bond market or interest rates, what's your biggest concern, or what do you have your eye on right now that you're saying, I don't like this?
Yeah, well, it's actually it wasn't any of those that you mentioned, although those are concerns. My real concern is that the consumer is tapped out.
Right.
And we're seeing that the consumer is tapped out in the United States, which is the world's largest economy, and we're seeing that consumer is tapped out here too in Canada. Um, especially with the debt ratio of I believe 200 in Canada that used to be over
Wow.
60. Yeah, so it's increased. Now we had governments printing money, handing out money for free through COVID, and we've burned through all of that. We burned through the EI. We've really burned through everything, and the consumer just looks to be tapped out here. And what we're seeing too is that rates are staying somewhat elevated, um, and we're seeing housing starts cratered in Canada. They may be bottoming here, but we've really seen them at a low that hasn't been seen since the post the financial crisis in the United States. That's
Wow.
where housing starts are right now in the States. So there could be a storm on the horizon, but that's my big concern. It's not the one that the government or the banks prepare for. It's kind of that unforeseen curveball that comes at you that catches you off guard. Those are usually the ones that can cause big disruptions in the financial markets. You really don't hear a lot of people talking about that, especially with the U.S. home starts just absolutely cratering, and transaction volumes are through the floor too as well.
And now a message from our sponsor, Juggernaut Exploration.
One of the more exciting ones, I think, is Juggernaut. I know some people say, well, lightning can't strike twice, and but look, I think one of the things you got to reflect on is that some of the guys who work here at Juggernaut are some of the same geologists that basically found and have now advanced sherbet at Goliath, okay, over the past years. So they have a very different way of thinking about exploration in the Golden Triangle than most other geologists, okay? And they've gone out and they've identified what could be another sherbet type target here. And the size of these veins is absolutely jaw dropping. My hunch is these guys are onto something pretty special.
The link in the description is right below for Juggernaut Exploration. Now back to the episode. Yeah, no, you make an incredible point, Dan. Ed, I know we have a little bit of news from Juggernaut. What's the exciting news that's coming?
Well, first off, we announced a $2.6 million financing that was upsized to 8.9, then that was upsized to 9.9, then 10.9,
Wow.
then $11.5 million, all within 30 days.
Wow.
So overwhelming interest from very well-heeled, incredible institutions. One being Crescat, owns just shy of 20% of our company, and Dr. Quentin Henney is a technical advisor, world-renowned geologist.
Yeah.
We are going to set sail into the field here within the next 15 to 30 days with a full exploration team, and we're going to go and expand this discovery where we found over 200 polymetallic veins at surface that used to be
Wow.
covered in snow and ice that are running over 3 ounces gold, over 3,000 grams silver, very high copper too as well. So looks like a big discovery right beside Newmont's Galore Creek which has $100 billion in situ value, Canadian dollars in the ground.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
We're tied right onto it. So that's why there's so much excitement with us.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm super excited to see what comes of it and what happens in the next year or two from Juggernaut. I'm super, a lot of people are going to be looking at it right now and saying, this is exciting to follow. Before you go, I really want people to connect with you. I'm going to put the links in the description below for Juggernaut. Is that the best place they can connect with you, or do you have your own personal social media you want people to follow you, LinkedIn?
Yeah, well, I would go to juggernautexploration.com. We've got our Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, links right there on our webpage. You can also follow me, hit me up on LinkedIn under Dan Stewart with Juggernaut Exploration. I've got over 30,000 followers, so I'm capped out on people, or connections, I should say. You can have
Right.
unlimited followers. So you can still follow Juggernaut and myself and what we're doing and broadcasting about the markets and this exciting discovery.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
everyone watching this, I highly recommend. Please check out Juggernaut Exploration. I do have it in the link in the description below. And Dan, it's such a huge pleasure having you come down to speak to the silver and gold and the precious metals community. And as always, as I say, as the market develops, as everything happens with Juggernaut and even the precious metals market, love to have you back on.
Awesome. Keep stacking, everybody. We're on that. We're on the right side of the equation here, and will be for a while.
Oh yeah, awesome. Talk to you soon, Dan.
Thanks.